Hi, everybody. I'm Sam Straub, owner of Teen Savvy Coaching, where I help parents of teens and tweens step into your parenting role with calm and confidence. There's no manual for raising a teenager, and raising a teenager is so vastly different from raising an elementary school kid. And I've spent my entire career as an educator and as a therapist and as a parenting coach supporting teens and their adults. And so I really like to help families find calm in the chaos that comes with raising adolescents.
Hi, everybody. I'm Erik Feig. I'm a mediator and the founder of Feig Mediation Group in Maryland. I work with parents and families. They come to me when they're dealing with important issues and decisions, and they're not on the same page yet. It's not just about divorce. It's also about keeping the family on track when they're together or when they are divorced, making those important decisions together for their kids when they're apart. I have a special focus on working with families where there are special needs involved or where the kids have complicated issues, where the parents have, well, more frequent or sometimes different types of decisions that they need to make, and it's important for them to be on the same page with each other.
Erik and I were introduced to each other through a mutual friend, and it fast became apparent that his work as a mediator and my work as a parenting coach had some overlap in terms of the types of situations and phenomenon we see. And we want to talk today about something we see happening in families, where we see someone saying, why can't you just be this way? Why can't you just do this? Why can't you just, Erik, why don't you talk a little bit about how that shows up for you in your work?
Well, in my work, it shows up a couple of ways. One is between parents, where one parent might say to the other, why can't you just, about some sort of a parenting question, right? And it becomes a question about something they're doing or not doing. It could be about the kids. And it could be a question about the kids, why can't they just? Which is another way that, and sometimes it comes from the outside. So it's from somebody that may be well-intentioned, a family member. It could be someone of that nature saying to you as the parent, why do you do all that? Why can't you just fill, and then you fill in the blank as to what the rest of it is. Every one of those statements for the person hearing it can be loaded with judgment, can be loaded with all sorts of emotion. And also it shows that, you're not connecting.
Right. Yeah. And I hear that from a parenting place where parents say, why can't my child just whatever it is? And I would say that it's not just that, that can be loaded with judgment for the recipient, but from the person who's harboring that thought, there can be shame within that thought. If a parent is thinking, why can't my kid just whatever, behave in a certain way, they may also be thinking, what have I done or not done to fail my kid in some way? Have I not measured up as a parent? And anytime there's shame or judgment, those are feelings that we run from, that we want to escape. And so communication is really likely to get shut down. And so what I do when I've got parents working with me is I talk about how to approach, how to have that thought, how to turn it around. We look at neurological and developmental norms for their kids, also context of behaviors. And we try to get to the bottom of what's going on with the why can't they just, because sometimes there's actually an answer. Here's why. There's a real reason. And when you can accept that, you can respond in a way that's effective. And how about you?
I think it's an important point you're making. And when you look at it from the perspective of who's hearing it, but the intention isn't always, there's not necessarily malice. There's not necessarily a bad intention when people make these comments, but how they're delivering the message matters.
Yes.
So curiosity expressed as something that's heard as an attack isn't going to lead to an answer necessarily that you're going to want. It might lead to somebody like you're saying. It might activate a feeling where they feel shame or they feel like they're being attacked. And instead of engaging, they don't, or maybe they bite back.
Right.
And before you know it, it starts to spin up. So in my world, sometimes the first step is to find out what we're really talking about. And what does the question mean? Why can't you just, so what is it that you're asking? And why are you asking the question? And what is it you're trying to communicate? And is the person that you're asking this question of, if it's whether it's your spouse, whether it's a family member, whatever it might be, what are they hearing? Because what they're hearing might not be what you're intending to be communicating. And that can take some work. And sometimes that takes somebody helping you to slow down. Because if you've always communicated a certain way, that's what feels, I'll use the word normal to you.
Yeah.
That's just the way you do things. But just the way you do things may not be working as well as you hope.
So if families are listening and they're thinking, you know what, the way I do things may not be working as well as I hope, how can they reach you to work with you?
For me, there's a couple of ways. On the web, I'm at feigmediationgroup.com, F-E-I-G mediationgroup.com. Email Erik, E-R-I-K, at feigmediationgroup.com. And I'm also on Facebook and YouTube. You can find me at Feig Mediation Group.
Awesome. And if parents are looking for support around raising their teens, you can find me at teensavvycoaching.com. Email sam@teensavvycoaching.com. And Facebook is Teen Savvy Coaching with Samantha Straub, Straub. And Instagram is Teen Savvy Coaching. And I'd love to hear from you.
Same
Erik,
here.
thanks for talking.
Thanks for having me. I'm so glad we did this.